What is going on, true believers? I hope you're having a great morning. My name is Bleeds. We're here to talk about this crazy crypto world and what is Jane Street? Why is Jane Street in the news? And why is Rand Nooner talking about Jane Street this morning? Because that's how you gain clout. Or at least that's what I think right now. Everybody's talking about Jane Street. Everybody wants to know, who are they? Where do they come from? What exactly is going on? But not only that, we had another big story that just broke a few moments ago. Zach XBT with a massive expose on the Axiom exchange. He even brought the receipts to show you exactly how they've been manipulating and how they've been stealing from you all of this time. And he even names names with the receipts, the programming code that they're using, everything you could possibly. It is embarrassing right now to be on the Axiom exchange, in my opinion. So let's talk about all that and more right after the intro.
It's your boy Bleeds. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket, that crypto wallet, that bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
All right, guys, strap in. This one's going to be a wild one. We're going to start off with the first and most important one, really, because Jane Street has to go in the backseat for just a moment while we talk about what's going on at Axiom Exchange. Zach XBT with an expose just an hour ago dropping. Meet Where's Brooks, which is Brooks Bauer, one of the multiple Axiom Exchange employees allegedly abusing the lack of access controls for internal tools to look up sensitive user data to insider trade by tracking private wallet activity since early 2025. This is Brooks. This is Where's Brooks on X, and he's following Zach XBT right now. Axiom is a crypto trading platform founded by Cal in 2024. After going through the Y Combinator's Winter 2025 batch, it quickly became one of the most profitable companies in the space, generating $390 million in revenue to date. I was retained to investigate allegations of misconduct at Axiom after receiving the reports. Brooks is currently the Axiom senior business development employee based in New York. In the clip, Brooks states he can track any Axiom user via reference code, wallet, and UID, and claims he can find out anything to do with that person. He also describes researching 10 to 20 wallets initially and slowly increasing over time, so it does not look that suspicious. In a separate clip from the same recording, Brooks sets ground rules for how to request lookups from him and then says he'll send the full list of wallets. The full recording is a private call of the group members strategizing. Somebody leaked this entire group call of what's going on. And then in April of 2025, Brooks shared a screenshot from an internal Axiom dashboard displaying private wallets for the trader Jerry. In August of 2025, he sent a second image showing the registration and the connected wallets of the trader Monix. And in August 2025, he discussed lookups of Axiom users who traded the meme coin Aura. The group created a Google Sheet compiling wallets for multiple KOL targets, mapping out wallet addresses gathered from data obtained via the internal Axiom dashboard by Brooks. Multiple KOLs named on the sheet or in linked screenshots were contacted and independently confirmed the accuracy of wallet data attributed to them. So you've got Earl, Urus, Suppress, Xander, Solo XBT, GRX, ZX, 0x Sun, Itai, Absol, Marcel, Frank, GCR, Nim, and Captain Kenzo, who have all confirmed that these are, in fact, their wallets. One of the targeted KOLs was Marcel, a trader with a poor reputation for using his followers as exit liquidity. He was targeted due to buying large portions of the token supply for meme coin, known as bundling, from private wallets before promoting them to followers. Traders like Marcel are prime targets for this type of abuse since address reuse is less common and private wallets are rarely public, which makes privileged information much more valuable. Brooks' main wallet was identified via messages sent in a private chat, and all directly related addresses were graphed out. Due to the high volume of meme coin trades tied to related addresses, pinpointing high confidence examples of insider trading from his wallet alone is difficult without access to Axiom's internal logs to review the timing of trades placed. Funds from related addresses primarily flowed to the following CEX deposit addresses. Along with Brooks in the call is close friend Gauno, a recently hired moderator at Axiom. In the first clip, he alleges Ryan Ruscio, another Axiom BD employee, has used the internal dashboard to look up users on behalf of others and that he helped get his friend's Mystery hired at Axiom as a moderator. In the second clip, Brooks discusses how Gauno's responsibilities will grow over time and states he can eventually help conduct lookups. Neither Ryan nor Mystery is present in the recorded call. During the February 2026 recorded call, he outlines a plan to help Gauno profit $200K quickly by abusing his access at Axiom, which is consistent with similar illicit activity he has been conducting with others since early 2025. In private chats, he also shared screenshots of his exchange balances, suggesting the scheme had already been generating returns totaling $94,000 so far. And this was his wallet in crypto. This is a Coinbase wallet showing that he had $194,000 in crypto, not Solana, as we can see at the bottom, and then cash. I was retained to independently investigate alleged misconduct at Axiom, and these findings are the results of that investigation. Earlier today, I reached out to the Axiom team for comment. Their statement is attached. Regardless of whether Cal or Miss were aware, there is little to no monitoring or access control in place to mitigate this abuse. The extent of data granted to employees in an easily accessible dashboard is unusual for BD roles, including the user's entire wallet. Now, going on here, we are surprised and disappointed to hear someone on our team abused internal customer support tools to look up user wallets. We have removed access to these tools and will continue to investigate and hold the offending parties responsible. This does not represent us as a team. We have always tried to put the user first. We'll share updates on Twitter as we learn more. So there you have it. Axiom had somebody deep in there that was giving trade secrets to people, and all you had to do was pay them just a little bit of money. So what is going on, chat, right now? Good morning, good afternoon to the Leeson, Gnome Saiyan in the house, Mark Rutherford, what's going on? So that's Zach XBT's investigation, and now we know that Axiom, boy, if this thing falls, I would not be surprised. Next up, Citibank is going to launch Bitcoin services in 2026, a big announcement for the day and testament to the continued mass adoption. Not too much to cover there, just to point that out. Also, Bitcoin falls as the U.S. jobless claims signals a labor market rebound. We had jobless claims fell to 212,000 off of estimates of 215,000, meaning that the labor market is starting to improve. And if it's starting to improve, then the bad news is that cryptocurrency doesn't really have. Look, we need rate cuts in order to get crypto to pump one more time. We need the Clarity Act. We need rate cuts, stuff like that, and we're not getting them if we have a strong labor market. So tomorrow we get the PPI information. So we'll see how this all translates. But for right now, it is now pricing in, the Fed Watch tool is now pricing in a 98% chance of no cuts at all. Also, I guess I should have pulled this up and showed you because it was kind of hilarious as it was playing out. His name was Ran and Nooner. And what did he say? He's trying to, by the way, I don't know if he's paid by Jane Street or whatever. I don't know exactly what he's doing, but when you go down all of his posts right here, of course, it's all about Jane Street, and he just deleted the post. he deleted the post saying that there was nothing. There was kind of like nothing to do with Jane Street. And then he said, "I thought you said Jane Street stopped selling at 10 a.m." Yeah, they did. They did, because the big gigantic candles no longer exist. The tiny candles of a very small dump are what exist right now. So even when he's trying to be funny or trying to say that you guys are crazy, that we're all crazy with this vast conspiracy or something like that, the only thing that he can point out is labor data, and we're down $15 billion. Guys, we've been down $50 billion a day for a long time. Seeing this on the hourly as Jane Street continued to dump every day when the market opened. Now, by the way, they're not the only person that's dumping. And that's where we get into the friction from people who don't really pay attention to too much other than what the news says. So let's figure out what's going on here. Now, in order to figure out exactly what's happening and why we're not dumping super hard today. And by the way, that does not mean that we won't dump super hard again today. The fact that everything happened yesterday with Jane Street or the day before with Jane Street caused them to get a little bit more careful about what they are doing. That doesn't mean they're going to stop. It doesn't mean that they're even doing anything wrong, just that they are doing it. And I'm not even I don't even believe I'm going to say this, but I just got there was just a post from DZ. And listen, this is what I tell you guys every single time is happening in the market. And this is what Jane Street is doing, okay? The easiest explanation of Jane Street manipulation. They buy Bitcoin, then they open shorts, then they dump that Bitcoin with the 10 a.m. algorithm. By the way, it should be noted, they buy Bitcoin constantly and they only sell the ones that are profitable for them, or when they can mathematically make some money off of the projected dump. So they've got risk involved. But listen, when you have this much Bitcoin, then you don't really worry about the risk. And if you hold hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin, which they do, if you hold hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin, then you can just dump it as you need to on an open market without while still maintaining a profit, or at least being very close. But then what you do is you open a short. You open the short, then you start to dump that Bitcoin with that 10 a.m. algorithm, and then you create panic selling, and then the price drops, and then you close the shorts in profits, and then you buy Bitcoin. And then you let the rest of the market run it up for a day or two, and then boom, you do the same thing again over and over and over and over and over and over. And that's what's been happening this entire time, okay? Now, again, this is not limited to Jane Street, but at least other people are now watching it. So we're going to ask the question today, why is Jane Street trending first, okay? Jane Street is a global quantitative trading firm founded in 2000 based in New York City. The company focuses on mathematics-driven strategies to trade financial instruments across global markets. Robert Granieri and other partners who had previously experience in the field of trading co-founded the firm. They all came from SIG. And it is headquartered in New York City and has other offices in London, Hong Kong, Amsterdam, and Singapore. Jane Street is a market-making firm that buys and sells securities continuously to facilitate the provision of liquidity. This position aids in keeping the price movement smoother and enhances the efficiency of the entire market to investors. The company is the trader of numerous assets such as equities, bonds, ETF currencies, and digital asset. It is known to be one of the biggest exchange-traded fund market makers globally. Since Jane Street was sued 2 days ago, the alleged 10 a.m. market manipulation has suddenly stopped. Bitcoin price is up over 10%. Its market value increased by $120 billion. Its weekly candle is green, marking the first 5 consecutive weeks of red. In the meantime, the overall crypto market has gained almost $200 billion since then. So, Jane Street Capital is facing a federal lawsuit connected to the 2022 cryptocurrency market collapse. A bankruptcy administrator filed the complaint on behalf of the affected stakeholder, which in this situation was Terraform Labs. Terraform Labs was the company founded by Do Kwon to maintain Terra and Luna. This was the Luna collapse. Jane Street is at the center of it. The suit accuses the company of trading in secret data to make lucrative transactions. The representatives of the company have refuted the charges and intend to protect themselves. Now, how do they intend to protect themselves? Well, first off, they've deleted everything they've ever posted on their Twitter account. Now, luckily, because it's in an archive, we have all of the data. You can't just delete everything on your account and expect it is just going to go away. So we're not worried about that. But just to give you guys some background here, Jane Street has deleted everything. Now, according to legal analysts, the case may influence the future regulation of the digital asset market. The renewed legal scrutiny has influenced sentiment within crypto communities. Investors are watching price trends keenly to see unusual volatility, and they are having online debates about that timing patterns could have been influenced due to the large institutional trade. Again, going back to this, Jane Street is not the only group that's doing this. They're just one of the bigger ones, and they're all taking advantage of it daily. Okay, some smaller companies, some larger companies, but every day there's this same thing happening. Theories of systemic intraday trading patterns have been magnified. Other commenters asserted that institutional strategies contributed to the repetitive decline in prices. These arguments are mostly speculative. They've not found to have any regulatory findings. That's the important part right there. Viral tales about market activity should be taken with caution, according to financial experts. High-profile lawsuits tend to produce premises other than the known facts. And this is true, by the way. We don't really know. We've just heard the rumors all this time that it was Jane Street, it was Jane Street, it was Jane Street. So it's not always going to be Jane Street, but it is going to be that they are at the center of some of it. They are known as a highly secretive quantitative trading firm that typically avoids public attention. Now, what else has happened? Terraform Labs, which is still controlling their account for some reason, says the office of the Terraform Labs plan administrator has filed a lawsuit against Jane Street, alleging insider trading, market manipulation, and deceptive trading practices that contributed to the May 2022 collapse of Terraform Labs. This does not absolve Do Kwon of his responsibility, and he has a lot of responsibility to answer for on this. So the action seeks to recover the value for creditors and hold Jane Street accountable for exploiting the ecosystem during one of the consequential events in crypto history. Now, this is available right now at the Wall Street Journal. I am not a member. I don't pay for the Wall Street Journal. But here's the summary of what's happening, and you can go look at this in the lawsuit. But the lawsuit alleges that there is a guy by the name of Brooke Pratt. He is did I say the name wrong? Is it Brooke Pratt? That may not be the right name. I might need. And there's no search here. Okay, good time. Absolutely fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Now, this is right here a breakdown of exactly how this happens. Everyone is asking, is Jane Street why Bitcoin isn't at 150K? As expected, the answer is trickier than the question, but it's also more structurally unsettling than the conspiracy theories. And once you understand the mechanics, you won't be able to unsee them. The billion-dollar question everyone is asking today, does Jane Street suppress Bitcoin price? The question deserves a precise answer, and the most important thing to understand up front is that it is not really a question about Jane Street. It's a question about the structure and feature of the Bitcoin ETF architecture that applies equally to every AP, which is an authorized participant in the ecosystem. For IBIT alone, that list includes Jane Street, JP Morgan, Macquarie, Virtue Americas, Goldman Sachs, Citadel Securities, Citigroup, UBS, and ABN AMRO. The role of these institutions is genuinely misunderstood, even amongst seasoned industry veterans, and that misunderstanding is worth correcting before drawing conclusions. The first thing to understand about APs, this is the authorized participant, is that they occupy a corner case in the regulatory architecture of regular SHO. Regular SHO requires short sellers to locate shares before shorting, but APs are exempt by virtue of their contractual right to participate in creation and redemption. While this sounds procedural, the practical consequence is significant. Any AP can manufacture shares at will, no borrow cost, no capital conventionally tied up against the short, and no hard deadline to close the position beyond what is commercially reasonable. This is the gray window, a regulatory carve-out designed for orderly ETF market making that is structurally speaking indistinguishable from a regulatory arbitrage with unmatched duration. The exemption is not unique to one firm. It's the condition of membership in the authorized participant club. The second thing to understand is that the exemption enables in short-term position construction. Ordinarily, if IBIT traded below NAV, you would expect an arbitrage buyer to step in, redeem shares for Bitcoin, and then close the gap. But any AP is the arbitration buyer, which controls the pipes, which means their incentive around closing that gap are not the same as a third-party desk operating with creation rights. The short IBIT exposure could in principle be hedged with long spot Bitcoin, but it needs not be, as long as the chosen instrument maintains tight correlation. The obvious substitute is Bitcoin futures, particularly giving their capital efficiency. The critical implication is if the hedge is futures rather than spot, the spot was never bought. The gap cannot close via the natural arbitration mechanism because the natural arbitration buyer chose not to buy on spot. It's worth noting that the spot future basis is itself the subject of an entire cottage industry of basis traders who work to keep their relationship tight, but each degree of separation between the hedge instrument and the underlying asset introduces dirty basis risk that compounds across the structure. The final piece involves the SEC's recent approval of in-kind creation and redemption. Remember, before you had to use cash. You could not use Bitcoin for in-kind creation and redemption with IBIT, but that's changed. Under the prior cash-only regime, the authorized participant was required to deliver cash to the fund, which the custodian then used to purchase spot Bitcoin. That purchase was the structural governor. It forced spot buying as a mechanical consequence of creation. In-kind removes it entirely. Any authorized participant can now deliver Bitcoin directly, sourced at a time and from counterparties of their own choosing. From OTC desk negotiated price, minimal market impact in the most liberal reading of that flexibility, an AP could maintain derivative positions designed to harvest funding or volatility components across the window between when the short was initiated and when the delivery was made. So basically, they've carved out a redemption here that allows each one of these large corporations to create shorts and then fund them with their own Bitcoin. That is precisely the crux of it. The beginning looks normal, the ending looks normal, but it's in the middle where they've got this murky categorization. This is not an indictment of any single firm. Every AP on the IBIT roster operates within the same framework. So they're all kind of doing this. And Jane Street just happens to be one of the larger ones, so at the forefront of what's going on. Now, the short answer is that there's no AP explicitly suppressing Bitcoin prices. With the AP structure, they can suppress the price discovery mechanism itself, and that is more horrifying than anything. What they can do basically is prevent the price from going up by picking and choosing which direction the market's going to go in and then using their own Bitcoin to dump the price on the open market, profiting from these futures, these short positions or these long positions. That's what they're doing, and that's what's happening. So now you have a better understanding of exactly what these guys are doing and how they are doing it. And the question that we have to ask ourselves right now is there any way for us to figure out and get beyond what's going on right here? And the answer to that is no. Right now, there is nothing that can be done about this. This is just an absolutely disgusting display, but it is what we expect it to be. So let's move on now and let's go to our chat bubbles. Pippin's up 20%, Stable's up 11%. It's going to get real interesting though. In the number 100 to 200 right now, Power has broken out 132%, and River's up 17%, and then Centrifuge. Guys, if you didn't pay attention to Centrifuge, I think they should be right here. They're up 75% right now. They were up over 200%. Just a few short hours ago. Now, if you booked your profit on Centrifuge, then good for you. Shout out. But it went from 8 cents up to 26 cents in it just went absolutely crazy. It's settling right now around 16%. So you're up close to 100% on the day, but at one point it was up over 240% for Centrifuge. So in the event that you bought that bottom, in the event that you capitalized on this move down here at around 8 cents, if you were in on this one, then you just made a big, big, big win. Also, it should be noted, NVIDIA earnings, which I told you guys I thought that what we would see was a move in the market, but guess what happened? NVIDIA blows out their earnings, but it's met with a shrug in the market. So now you're gonna be, this is gonna be crazy, by the way, but and by the way, we did open a little bit faster. Where's NVIDIA down here? NVIDIA was yeah, here we go. On the daily, it's now dumping 5% on the day, but leading into it with record earnings. Remember I told you guys yesterday, I'm not even sure that the big earnings are even going to matter because people right now structurally are saying that AI is overpriced. Well, AI might be overpriced because Google's spending $140 billion, but who are they giving that money to? NVIDIA, because they need GPUs. So what we're seeing playing out in the market right now is a testament to the stupidity, the blind stupidity of some of these American markets that are just doing their best right now to try to quote unquote dunk on the market. Now, by the way, Dow Jones down 200 points as well. Crypto only down 30. You believe that? Kind of weird, isn't it? It's just kind of weird, right? We have to be able to admit that. Last night, as a matter of fact, we had gone all the way up to 2.39 trillion. By the way, if you look at this, and let's just do it from an impulse move, right? But the impulse move right here, from this to this, right there, I mean, we're almost done with our dip when we look at it overall. If we're looking for where the dip's going to go, between 0.45 and that 0.618 in that region. So we're already almost there. This is not Jane Street. This is the natural market taking place. Now, whether or not somebody steps in like a Jane Street remains to be seen. Over the next couple of hours, we should come down into this range. By the way, I liquidated my long position at $2.41, and ICP is currently at $2.42. It dipped down to $2.38. I did not get back into it because my target price for whatever would happen next is going to be a little bit lower than that. Like, I don't want to get back in unless we can get it, dip down into the prop. But the point here is that the total crypto market cap come down a little bit more, I think, and then we're going to have a rally and a bounce back up to at least this region right there. And look how great that region looked right there. Not only did we, in the overall market, not only did we have the exciting move, but we had the consolidation here before the dump, which should mean that we're going to run right back up into this region coming up pretty soon. So now, and by the way, that dip might come down just to the 0.382, which is where it is right now. That might just be it. We might end up this might be a good run. This might end up being a nice little reversal and a testament to some strength in the market, in a market that's been needing strength for a little while. Now let's get back into chat here. I am Root says, yeah, deleting everything is no. Yeah, these guys are crazy. These guys are absolutely out of their mind. Hit Gary. Deleting your post shows guilt to the public. Absolutely, but they don't care. It's not what you show. It's what the prosecution can prove. So even though we say that, and even though you are 100% right, it doesn't really matter ultimately. The ultimate part that matters the most is what can be proven in a court of law. And remember, all of this is always going to side on it's going to always be on the side of the large corporation, because they're the ones with the money. They're the ones that control the courts. They're the ones that control the judges. They're the ones that control everything. So will there be an accounting for it? I don't know. I really don't know. But it's going to be interesting to see it play out, if nothing else. Now, let's keep moving on here. Bitcoin ETFs yesterday, because of the flow of the market, the way everything was working yesterday, $500 million in capital inflows in the ETF market yesterday. This is off of Bitcoin ETF. On the Ethereum ETS, you had capital inflows of 157 million. That's a massive day for Ethereum. Doesn't fix everything that's been happening for the past 4 months or so, but it's a good thing to see that people are paying attention right now, and we're starting to see those ETFs pile back in and build back up. Yesterday was a massive day, however, for Solana. Look at this, $31 million in capital inflows. Guys, I need to point this out. 69 million is what the total inflows on Solana are. Half of that was one day. Like, look at what happened over here. Half of this was like 1 day worth, right? Over the last couple of days, that's where all the money came from the Solana ETF. And by the way, that looks like shit again. Man, that thickness is just too much. Let's try that one more time. That's a little better. All right, yeah, there we go. All right, so, and then the XRP ETF, which did not have a huge inflow. It's just, this is an institutional level of inflow right now on the XRP ETF, just every day, every day, every day, and every day. So XRP having inflows of about $3 million. Yeah, $3 million. So good numbers overall. Also, Fear Greed Index still sitting at a 10. Thought we would get more of a spike, but we did not get the spike that I was anticipating. We got, let's go look over here. Boom, 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 boom. We were at 6, we were at 10. We're still just kind of sitting at 10 right now. So the market is still scared. The market is still pricing in some fear in it. We haven't seen the reversal that we're looking for. That is actually a great sign that we could be looking at some upward momentum, but we're going to have to see how this new dip is going to play out. Again, the dip could be done. I don't think that it is, but you know, we'll see. Liquidity. We got a massive sweep yesterday. This was the 15-minute, but we got a massive sweep yesterday. We got that massive buildup. We got that massive move to the upside, all the way up to, where did we go? Right here, about 69,000. You can see just kind of swept through this entire range right there. Now the question is, are they going to come after these positions right here on the that are going long right now? Are we going after them, or are we going to start attacking some of these short positions? Now, I don't know that the markets, again, these market makers, they're still pricing all this stuff in. By the way, your liquidity spot right there, your positions that we're looking for is going to be right there in that 72.5 range. There's another big one right up here around 85,000, and then there's a lot under 60,000 right now. So we're still, you know, the money is still moving back and forth. So we don't know exactly how this plays out. Also, we're down 29 billion in the market right now. Again, this is a healthy correction, I think, off of an impulse move. Now, if I took the impulse move and I said, you know, let's take this part and let's do this on the shorter time frame, and we look at it from the shorter time frame here, from that impulse move, which, by the way, it's not perfect. But it sure is an Elliott wave that absolutely played out. And then what happens at the end of the Elliott wave? It plays back out in the reverse, or partially in reverse. And that's what's happening to it right now. So really, this is a picture perfect move. And by the way, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was the testament to that full Elliott wave move and the correction. And then if you want, go look at what happens after the Elliott wave. That's the question that you got to ask yourself right now. What happens after the Elliott wave? So the breakdown includes, again, a break back up, in my opinion. Now, the problem with my assessment on this shorter time frame, by the way, that I'm looking at right now, is this right here. After the impulse move, we had the breakdown to the 0.45, and then we had a retest at 0.236. So we've already had our impulse move. Then we had the breakdown to the deeper zone, which is what I say. Now we're going to have that test of 382 coming up soon, and then we're going to find out whether or not we break out and start heading higher. That's what I believe is playing out right now. So the question is, can we throw $100 billion? We throw $100 billion into the market today in the event that it were to happen. Then that put us back to 2.39 trillion, and that would be at least the start on the lower time frames of something of a reversal, because we're still looking at it from this context, we're still looking at upward momentum kind of playing out. And what we are looking at as well is from right here to right there, taking this down. Let's put a smaller right there to there to there. So you can see that we're kind of, let's remove that one. And you know what? Let's get rid of Fibonacci right now. Let's look at this from this standpoint right now. You can see that we're just kind of trending in this zone right now. The 50 and the 200 are crossing over. That's a bullish indicator on this time frame. It happened over here a few days ago and did not maintain. So we could still be looking at it not maintaining. But on the hourly, we are having a crossover right there, which should lead to positive price discovery if it in fact sticks. So all the setup right now looks like we should have some upward momentum. And the RSI crashed back down below into the zone right now that says we could have a big reversal. So this could be some upward momentum happening in the shorter time frames. In the longer time frames on the daily, same setup is playing out, but we got to get to that 50, and that 50 is currently sitting at 2.67 trillion. So we have a long way to go in this market before we start to get bullish again. Right now, we're not looking. We're still in this bear trend. And by the way, should be noted, we've seen this play out multiple times so far. We saw it play out here. We saw it play out here. And it resulted in a dump to the downside. Then, on the larger time frame, we're seeing it play out here. We saw it play out right here. It was a little bit more bullish, looked like it was still upward momentum, but we saw that other channel playing out, and it led to the same thing. It led to another dump. So we're looking at we're looking at dump after dump after dump after dump. So to the point, we've not broken back into the upward level yet. So until we actually start to break out positive, not sure that we've got too much. This is just a small relief rally at this point, and that's what we should look at, small relief rally until we know otherwise, because otherwise, you just doesn't look good that way. Back in the chat here, was the Devi dump today from the Ray wallet, or was, you know what, Roy, it was actually from an 8404 wallet. I don't know. That was not, it was, the answer to that is no. 8404 is, actually, that dump was 8404 wallet, right here. I think this is Jared from Subway. If you notice here, it's not just Dev. It doesn't really mess with Dev. It's funded by MEXC1, and it just, I think it's an arbitrage bot. I think that this is just an arbitrage bot. And I think what happened was we saw some movement on Gate.io. We saw some movement on MEXC, and as you go down here, you'll find he hasn't made any transactions here in a while, but he's trading all of these other ones. So this is an arbitrage bot. This is not actually Ray. So no, they probably were flipping back and forth between between a couple of different. It's just an arbitrage bot using it for opportunity right there. You know what I mean? So Morgan Barge says, got my doc to put me on Wegovy, but isn't this the same thing you're on? Yes, it is. And what would be a good peptide to take to build muscle faster? Well, I'm glad you asked that, because I will show you exactly what it is that I take, because I ain't scared, baby doll. And it is right here. Ipamorelin, CJC 1295, no DAC. By the way, for anybody who's wondering, DAC is delayed action compound, which means that it stays in your body for a longer period of time. I'm not worried about it staying in my body a longer period of time. I'm just worried about it working. But I do a 10 milliliter injection of Ipamorelin, CJC 1295 every day off of this bottle. So if you are interested, if you're looking for that opportunity, then there it is right there. Ipamorelin, CJC 1295. Benefits. If we come over here and we look at the benefits here, It acts as a growth hormone releasing hormone to increase growth hormone production. Ipamorelin is a secretagogue that mimics ghrelin to stimulate growth hormone release without significantly raising cortisol or prolactin. Reported benefits include improved sleep quality, faster workout recovery, increased lean muscle mass, fat reduction, enhanced skin elasticity, and improved cognitive function. That's why I'm smarter than everybody, because of this. Duh. Side effects are generally well tolerated, with the side effects being injection site reaction, temporary headaches, dizziness, or water retention. Water retention, again, I'm swollen up most of the time because, and even guys at the gym right now are telling me, like, dude, you look like a bodybuilder because you're starting to, your muscles are starting to fill out in ways that they hadn't before. And really, it's just, I think this is why I think it's that water retention. Plus, I take 20 milligrams or 20 grams of creatine every day because I'm older, and that was that thing for the brain and stuff like that. Then, whatever. Get you some. Yeah. It's tesamorelin, increased growth hormone. All right, so tesamorelin Ipamorelin is more of a growth hormone for muscle. Tesamorelin is a growth hormone, but it actually works on your stomach fat. So tesamorelin is probably a good idea if you have. Tesamorelin was used for HIV patients many, many years ago because one of the things about that old HIV cocktail is it used to make people fat. It would cause you to retain fat around your midsection. Tesamorelin actually attacks the fat in your midsection. So if you have stomach fat that you want to get rid of, tesamorelin is a good option, but also ipamorelin does the same thing. So that's why it doesn't matter to me which one it is. But for some people, because somebody told them once that tesamorelin is better, then they think that tesamorelin is that thing. So tesamorelin is an FDA-approved injectable prescription. It specifically targets and reduces visceral fat. That's what it does right here, which can accumulate around organs in HIV patients without causing overall weight loss. Studies have shown it can reduce visceral fat by approximately 15%. So if you're looking for that, if you got that layer on you where, you've got, you've just got that fat that's underlying, like right underneath, you know what I mean? Like that, just right there on the subcutaneous layer. This will attack that, and it's good for it. But also, ipamorelin does the same thing. So yeah, I'm pumped up every time I use it. You know what I mean? Like all I can say is I really like what it does. I really like, everything about it has been game changing for me. So total DeFi lock, by the way, is still $6 billion. There's no change in it. We did this a little bit earlier. So now let's go over a couple of these. Bitcoin, again, we're looking for breakdowns into ranges right now, and Bitcoin looks like it's primed. Same thing, playing out. Basically everything right now is going to be playing out in this pattern. The question is, how does that pattern end up? And the last time it ended up with a dump. The time before that, it ended up with a dump. So this does not mean that the market is in recovery mode. This just means that there is perchance some opportunity. Let's close that out. So we'll have to see. Again, I have exited most of, all my futures positions are closed right now. I'm waiting to see which way the market goes. If we get an enormous surge, like if we get a crazy breakout, then I'm going to be looking to short the position, and that it won't continue because there's too many people still nervous about the market. So that's what I would be watching for right now. By the way, I tried to get it to where I was behind this, and I couldn't do that. I'm like right above it. I tried to get the little blue rim thing here. Tried to make it. Oh well. Tau, $182 right now. Having a little surge in the day. Again, I think that it's in the middle of that wave right now. So this is on the daily. It's playing out as an Elliott wave, so we'll see whether or not that happens. ICP, again, this was a really good win for me. This was a really good win because I accumulated so much every single day. I was buying and buying and buying and buying, and I cashed out at 241. I could have taken it around 260, but I wanted to hold on to it. And then when I saw the data this morning, that's when I cashed it out, because then it got me thinking, man, I'm not holding the bag back down one more time. And by the way, you guys have been trading on KCEX. That's my preferred vendor right now. So if you want to do any futures trading, sign up at my link in the description below on KCEX and start trading today if you do futures. If you do spot trading weeks, the one thing that I will say that has screwed me up is, remember I told you guys that I wanted to buy midnight, that I thought midnight would actually run. Well, so my futures balance right here, it's about $500 right now because we had that nice little win, $450. And then I've got $14 over here, right? What I was going to do is I was going to go over here and buy some night. So I went over here and chose night. Whoops. Guess I should spell night. And the only thing available is futures. There's no spot trading for night. So night is not available on spot at KCEX. So I mean, I just assume I'll move it over to another platform and buy midnight from another platform. If that's the case, what I'm going to hope for right now is I'm going to hope for a dip over here on ICP, because I'd really like to re-enter that one more time, just to kind of, you know, like give me one more nice little dip, you know, catch me around this 50 MA, catch me around this, you know, 200 MA. If I get an opportunity for that and I can accumulate on the 1 hour, again, we're looking for that move to 220 right there, maybe accumulate a little bit at 230, something like that. But really just want to see if I can get a nice little dip here and see what happens. You know what I mean? If it comes back down into this $2 range, boy, I'm going to buy like crazy. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Anyway, that's it. That's the show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. You might notice things are a little bit different. Purple on one side instead of the other. I have my lighting system is still kind of awkward. There's the purple. I just haven't set it up yet on purple. I also have the yellow so that I look a little more tan or something like that. Woo! Anyway, so I'm not finished with the lighting right now. The camera seems a little off too, so but I'm moving it around just a little bit. I'm not happy with the lighting. I moved my lights around so that the key light is now on this side. Before it was on my left side. So I'm just kind of moving this stuff around, trying to get myself in the right position for the best camera, because that green screen in the background, boy, it's a pain in the ass. So I have to keep a light on that in order to make that. And I'm using an overhead light, which is also kind of washing me out just a little bit. So trying to dial it in. So I'll let you guys know if anything happens. Anyway, in the meantime, it's not financial advice. I'm always right. I appreciate you guys so much. Make sure that you share this content with as many people as possible. Hit the share button, hit the like button, hit whatever button. Share me on X, share me on wherever you are consuming it. I appreciate it so much. And if you're interested in the Chicago Bears, then definitely go check out my Chicago Bears channel. It's called Believes in Chicago. Bear Down. We'll talk to you again very, very soon.